Over the years, I've been fortunate to give lots of talks and help organize lots of marches in tribute to the incredible legacy of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. In 2008, I gave what I considered to be one of my more ambitious talks in Santa Barbara, California. It was simulcast on a local radio station, and I believe it's still available somewhere on the internet. In that talk, I mimicked Dr. King's method of addressing the systemic inequalities of wealth, health, income, education, and other sectors of society. Then about halfway through, I moved to a brief discussion of our inherent moral and social responsibilities as human beings, and then the importance of putting love in it. And it is that part of the talk which I would like to share with you. I'm a strong believer in social action and in organized, nonviolent resistance. I have earned my own stripes from being arrested for protesting, yet now find at this stage of my life that I'm mentioning love more and more. Because from all the studying, all the traveling and living overseas, and all the deep reflection, I've concluded that to achieve a life worth living and to move towards the goal for which all of humanity exists, love and its well-crafted, courageous expression must be present. All noble goals can be subsumed under love. Ideologies have goals. Political and economic activities have a purpose. But what if that purpose was infused with love for justice and for the well-being of others? King reminded us that it takes strength and courage and sacrifice to love. When I speak of love, he said, I am not speaking of some sentimental and weak response. I am speaking of that force which all of the great religions have seen as the supreme unifying force of life. Love is somehow the key that unlocks the door which leads to ultimate reality. He then went on to say, this Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Jewish, Buddhist belief about ultimate reality is summed up in the first epistle of St. John. Let us love one another. But what does it mean to love? Love is most often experienced as an emotion, yet it is far more than that. Love is the ultimate energy of attraction to the good. It is duty, dedication, and determination in the pursuit of positive, human-centered means and socially just, beneficent effects on those with whom we live and interact, with those whose voices and dignity have been degraded. It is the concrete expression of the do unto others attitude of life. Mother Teresa, in speaking about love, talked about something very simple. She said, many people talk about love, but they may not be very loving at all. Love has to be put into action, she said. And I'll add that when it is, love takes the form of understanding, compassion, trust, empathy, dedication, generosity, sincerity, and sacrifice. Freedom and social justice arrive whenever and wherever one acquires the courage to place love into action. People decide to find the correct way when the power of love is present. Healthcare and education are not tied to politics and economics when love is at hand. Schools are not segregated, underfunded, or held captive to untoward impositions when love is there. Poverty and racism cannot coexist when love is alive and active. Children don't go too far astray when there is tangible evidence that they are loved and respected and are provided with appropriate avenues to experience and express the love that lives within their own delicate hearts. I went on from there with a few more words, and then an urgent, heartfelt appeal to personal, social, and institutional action. Love, in its various practically applied forms, is centrally important for genuine and sustainable human progress in every regard. But its realization in society will take much deeper understanding and a more authentic commitment to the common good than what we see today. Now, to go a bit deeper with respect to the difference between selfish, emotion-centered love and higher, selfless love. Please hear what Stephen Levine wrote about love in his book entitled, Who Dies? He challenges and even chastises those who so routinely and so lightly claim to love. We use the word love, he wrote, but we have no more understanding of love than we have of anger or fear or jealousy or even joy, because we have seldom investigated what that state of mind is. What are the feelings we so quickly label as love? For many, what is called love is not lovely at all, but is a tangle of needs and desires, of momentary ecstasies and bewilderment. Moments of unity, of intense feelings of closeness occur in a mind so fragile that the least squint or sideways glance shatters its oneness into a dozen ghostly paranoias. When we say love, we usually mean some emotion, some deep feeling for an object or person that momentarily allows us to open to another. But in such emotional love, self-protection is never very far away. Still, there is business to the relationship. Clouds of jealousy, possessiveness, guilt, intentional and unintentional manipulation, separateness, and the shadow of all previous loves darken the light of oneness. But what I mean by love, he said, is not an emotion. It is a state of being. True love has no object. Many speak of unconditional love for another. Unconditional love is the experience of being. There is no I or other, and anyone or anything it touches is experienced in love. You cannot unconditionally love someone. You can only be conditional love. It is not a dualistic emotion. It is a sense of oneness with all that is. The experience of love arises when we surrender our separateness into the universal. It is a feeling of unity. You don't love another, you are another. There is no fear because there is no separation. Well, this was quite an earful and even more of a challenge. I'm not sure when or even if I will get there, but I promise you, I am committed to trying and hope to leave that, above all, on the table of my own life. Well, I hope to come back soon with another video which will expand on Levine's notion of love and wade into divine love as expressed by Satya Sai Baba and so many others. Jesus Christ, Lord Buddha, Krishna, they all talked about love at the highest levels. I invite you to come along for the experience, hoping you will reflect on how this can bring about more peace, more contentment, and wisdom into our own lives. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I hope to see you around.